In today's lesson, we will learn about law of cosines. As you can see, the formula on the right is found on your reference sheet. They only give you this version, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Now, this can work to find a, b, or c, and I found this on the web on mathwarehouse.com, where it's written for a squared, b squared, and for c squared, but the regions, once again, the reference sheet only gives you this, and you will just have to adapt this formula to solve for any side that they request. Number one, let's find the side. So this is meant to be done without the calculator. Instead of giving you the angle, they just give you what cosine t is. So in triangle CAT, side A is 4, side C is 5. Cosine of t is here, 1/8, right? I can't label that because it's not the angle itself, it's the cosine of the angle. And t is what we are looking for. So t will be put in place of a, right? So when you write this down, it will be t squared. And the 4 and the 5, it doesn't really matter which one goes first, as long as you stay consistent. So if I put the 4 in for b, I put the 4 in for b over here. The 5 goes in for c, the 5 goes in for c here, and the rest is based, and of course cosine t of 1/8 goes in for here, cosine of a. So it's just 1/8 goes here, and just always remember that the angle here always matches the side here. So here we have capital T out here is cosine t is 1/8. And lowercase t over here is the unknown. That's what we're looking for. And then we go through, we just simplify. 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25. 2 times 4 is 8 times 5 is 40 times 1/8. Keep simplifying, we get 41 minus 5. And 41 minus 5 is 36. Take the square root of both sides, and our answer is 6. In this example, we're going to find the angle. In triangle ABC, A equals 10, B equals 7, and C equals 8. Find the value of cosine C. All right, so here's the triangle. Here is C, the vertex, and the angle C, and I've just drawn an arrow pointing across to show that 8 will go on the outside, right? We'll start the equation off. And C will be what we're seeking at the end here. So even though the formula is written with A's and a capital A here, make sure you use 8 and cosine C. And the B and the C, of course, are going to be these two side lengths. So let's replace everything. 8 squared equals 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7 cosine C. Simplify. 64 equals 149 minus 140 cosine C. Now, what do you think is the next step? A lot of students mess this up. A lot of students want to say 149 minus 140 is 9. The problem is you cannot do this. The order of operations says to multiply first before you add or subtract. And in this situation, we're actually solving for cosine C. So we're undoing all these operations. So just like you would solve a two-step equation, we need to subtract 149 first from both sides. Minus 149 minus 149. 64 minus 149 is negative 85. Then we bring down our negative 140 cosine C. So now what we're left with is a one-step equation. Divide both sides by 140, negative 140. This cancels out, the negative signs cancel out. And 85 over 140, we can divide both sides by 5 and reduce the fraction to get 17/28. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the value of cosine of C. Now, if they were to ask what is the value of C, then you would do inverse cosine or arc cosine of this fraction, and it would give you the degree. But in this case, we know the answer is 4. All they asked for is cosine C. Number 3, draw the triangle and find the angle. So here we have triangle ABC with these sides given to you. A equals 24, B equals 36, C equals 30. Find measure of angle A. Okay, so here we know that this actually matches the formula perfectly. So 24 is lowercase a, and uppercase A is the angle, which we will find by doing the inverse cosine at the very end. So let's go ahead and plug in. 24 squared equals 30 squared plus 36 squared minus 2 times 30 times 36 cosine A. So we just have to do a lot of simplifying. 576 equals 900 plus 1296. So any calculator would work for this. Minus 2,160 cosine A. Let's combine like terms in the middle. That's 2196 minus 2160 cosine A. Once again, you cannot subtract these. We need to solve for cosine A. So we want to subtract 2196 from both sides. And that gives us negative 1,620 equals negative 2,160 cosine A. Last step is to divide both sides by negative 2,160. This cancels out. And when you plug this in the calculator, you end up with 0.75, 75 hundredths, equals cosine A. Now, because they're actually asking for what the angle is, we need to take the arc cosine of both sides, or the inverse cosine. So put that in the calculator, and A is approximately 41.4 degrees. Circumscribe number 1. We have Elm Street and Pine Street. They intersect, creating a 40-degree angle drawn here. John's house, J, is on Elm Street, and it's 3.2 miles from the intersection. So I've labeled 3.2 right here. Mary's house is 5.6 miles from the intersection. So I've labeled that 5.6 here. Find to the nearest tenth of a mile the direct distance between the two houses. How far is it from J to M? That's the question mark. So as you can see, here's our triangle. Here's our 40-degree angle. Here's one side, here's another side. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to use the law of cosines to solve this. So in this case, the question mark would be A, and 40 degrees would be capital A. So all we have to do here is substitute in to the formula. I've used X for the unknown. And since we are solving for this, all the calculation in here can simply be plugged into the calculator. And as you can see, I plugged it in over here. 3.2 squared plus 5.6 squared minus 2 times 3.2 times et cetera, et cetera. This calculator doesn't show it all because this little arrow means there's more to that formula. And when we calculate, we end up with 14.14, et cetera, et cetera. Now, because this is really x squared equals this, we have to take the square root of both sides. So we do square root of the previous answer, and the result is 3.8 miles. And if you think about it, this makes sense. It's somewhat drawn to scale. This is the shortest distance, this is the middle distance, and this is the longest distance. Last one, number 2, sage and scribe. So here's our triangle. They give us side lengths for everything, and they want to know what is the angle C. So once again, we can use the law of cosines. Because all sides are given, they want to know the angle of C. So we just plug in. A is 13, B is 14, C is 15. We need to square all those. Plug these in. 169 equals 196 plus 225 minus 420 cosine C. Keep simplifying. We just combine these terms. Once again, we don't subtract these. You need to undo the operations. We're going to subtract 421 from both sides. That gives us negative 252 equals negative 420 cosine C. Divide both sides by negative 420. And we end up with cosine C equals 252 over 420. I canceled out the negative signs. So this last step, you would simply put this into your calculator, inverse cosine both sides, and your final answer is 53 degrees. And there it is, and that's how you use the law of cosines. Good luck to you.